Good morning, everybody. Welcome to Coffee Time Bible Study. You got me. I'm here by myself, but it's okay. We're going to do this Bible study and it's going to be good. This is part 19 of Moses and the Israelites. And last week, well, the week before, because my internet went out, it's always something technical, but we get through it usually. But that we couldn't get through. So I apologize for that. We went through the Israelites and how they tested God last week. And God was testing them to help them understand that he was always with them and that he was the one true God, that he was the provider and the protector. And he was testing them to get them to understand that and to be able to know that he was the true God. He was with them, that these tests were to build their character and to help them get through the hold that Egypt had on them. So instead of them allowing God's tests, they began to test God by doubting and demanding proof that he was with them. We read that in Exodus 17:7, where it said, "Is the Lord among us or not?" And Moses believed he was. We're going to turn to Exodus chapter 33, 12 through 23. If you could turn there. Exodus chapter 33, verse 12 through 23. Good morning, Brother Cooligan. We are in Exodus 33, chapter 12 through 23. Let me get my cameras all set. I can't look at two things at one time like Brother Jim's. He's got multiple things going on. Me, I'm old school. I'm looking at one thing and that's it. I'm used to Kaylee saying, "Mom, you got to turn this on and turn that on." And she knows that I need that assistance. So she's busy at fair, a 4-H club with the kids. They are showing their goats today and they're doing a great job. Addison got second place and Daniel, he got 7th place, but we are proud of them and they are moving on with this is their last year with 4-H. So we're very happy. And we lift that family up. They're going through a loss of their grandma and the loss of Larry's mother. So we lift them up today in their mourning of the loss of their grandmother. We are on Exodus 33, chapter 12 through 23. And Moses said to the Lord, "You have been telling me, lead these people, but you have not let me know whom you will send me with me. You have said, I know you by name, and you have found favor with me. If you are pleased with me, teach me your ways so I may know you and continue to find favor with you." And I absolutely love that verse. If we can just hold on to that verse, if you are pleased with me, Lord, teach me your way so I may know you and continue to find favor with you. Remember that this nation is your people, the Lord replied. My presence will go with you and I will give you rest. Then Moses said to him, if your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here. Moses, how will anyone know that you are pleased with me and with your people unless you go with us? What else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth? And the Lord said to Moses, I will do the very thing you have asked, because I am pleased with you and I know you by name. Good morning, Sister Lori. Good morning. I know you by name. So whatever you ask, I'm going to give you. So if your presence does not go with us, he says, how will they know? And what else will distinguish me and your people from all the other people on the face of the earth? And the Lord said to Moses, I will do the very thing you ask, because I am pleased with you and I know you by name. Then Moses said, now show me your glory. You see the difference between the demanding of the Israelites to the Lord, the testing when they said, is the Lord among us or not? That attitude, their demand, their expectations. And here Moses says, now show me your glory, after having that conversation with the Lord, not demanding that he show him his glory, not demanding that the Lord's presence be with them, but having a relationship. Now Moses says, now show me your glory, Lord, because we've had a conversation and we have a relationship. Good morning, Zoom. Now show me your glory. And the Lord said, I will cause all my goodness to pass in front of you, and I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. Like, you're not going to push the Lord to do anything. He is the one that is in control. He is the one, the Lord of our life. And we've got to put that into perspective. And we struggle with that as humans. We need to be in control. We got to be in control of every situation, to the point that it's a detriment in our life. And the Lord is saying, I will, because all my goodness is to pass to you in front of you. And I will proclaim my name, the Lord, in your presence. I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy, and I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. But he said, you cannot see my face, for no one may see me and live. Then the Lord said, there is a place near me where you may stand on a rock. When my glory passes by, I will put you in the cleft in the rock and cover you with my hand until I pass by. Then I will remove my hand and you will see my back, but my face must not be seen. Proof and protection. God was protecting Moses. Moses goes on to make the new stones, because you believe Moses and have no doubt, and you will see my glory as I protect you with my hand. Moses intercedes for the people. God was protecting him. He was doing what he asked. He had a relationship with Moses. It wasn't the test of the Israelites, the way that they did God, with demanding their disobedience, their attitudes, their grumbling, their complaining. Moses, his approach was to humble himself before God, to ask God, to have a relationship when he's asking God. He didn't demand these things from God. And God reminded Moses that he was in full control, that he will give mercy to those he wants to give mercy to, and have compassion for those he will have compassion. He protects us, he guides us, he loves us, and he does that with his own hand. We just read that. Here's a conversation between Moses and God as Moses was interceding on their behalf. It's in Numbers chapter 14, 17 through 23. So let's turn there. (17 through 23). I'm in chapter 17 instead of 14. All right. Now may the Lord's strength be displayed just as you have declared. The Lord is slow to anger, abounding in love, and forgiving sin and rebellion. Yet he does not leave the guilty unpunished. He punishes the children for the sin of the parents to the third and fourth generation. If they keep doing it and keep sinning in the same way that the parents and the grandparents sinned, this goes on. In accordance with your great love, forgive the sin of these people, just as you have pardoned them from the time they left Egypt until now. The Lord replied, I have forgiven them, as you asked. Nevertheless, as surely as I live, and as surely as the glory of the Lord fills the whole earth, not one of those who saw my glory and the signs I performed in Egypt and in the wilderness, but who disobeyed me and tested me 10 times, not one of them will ever see the land I promised on oath to their ancestors. No one has treated me with contempt ever will see it. This is the words of the Lord. Testing God was testing his character, and God was trying to develop their character by putting them through the different tests. And because of their lack of faith, they tested God. Because of their doubts and their demands, they tested God. They demanded from God signs out of their doubt and their fear and their complaining and their accusing, plus their desire to return to Egypt. And what they had there was testing God. So when we keep going back to the same things over and over, these cycles of things that we're in, we don't stop and think about that's testing God. That's not putting our full faith in God. We keep going back to what he's already removed us from. We went over the 10 testings in further detail, but there's 4 more that we need to go over. And that is at the sea. We'll just do a recap. At the sea, they panicked when the Egyptian army was coming to them after God had been protecting them and was with them the entire way. At Marah, they grumbled about the water that was bitter there. It was bitter and undrinkable. So God pointed out a stick to Moses to throw into the water and to make the water sweet. In the desert of Sin, Exodus 16:3, they were worried about starving to death in the desert to the point they were wishing they were dead. The Israelites wanted to go back to Egypt to sit next to the pots of meat. The hoarding with the manna in Exodus 16:20. Although God commanded them and gave them instructions, some disobeyed out of fear and tried to hoard the manna. It turned to maggots, and they did not trust the instructions or to follow God's commands. And they looked for manna on the Sabbath. Exodus 16:27 through 29. Regardless of what the instructions were and commanded to do, some still went out looking for the manna on the Sabbath. And at Raphadim, Massah, Exodus 17:2 through 7, they quarreled over a lack of water, and they quarreled to the point Moses feared he would be stoned by the crowd. They demanded water by asking if the Lord was among us or not. We will get into the next testing of God by the Israelites, the golden calf, Taberah, and their complaining, and the rebellion of Kadesh Barnea, as well as the last one refusing to enter Canaan after the spies' report. These are the things that are yet to come in our Bible study. Their refusal to trust God and put him through the test with their demands and their doubts and their complaining and idol worship angered God. Despite that the Israelites seen the different miracles of God, the parting of the Red Sea, the pillar of fire guiding them, the pillar of cloud. The Israelites continued to doubt him, and they panicked at each turn and at each test. Every time they had any hardships or discomforts at all, their doubt and their fear showed up once again. God wanted them to know that he was the one protecting them and providing for them, but each time they wanted more proof and they wanted more comforts. And God showered his power and his trustworthiness, yet they didn't believe and they didn't trust the next time they had to show it. God poured down manna like rain every single day, but instead of being grateful, they were ungrateful. They called it miserable food, and God had enough. We read that in 1 Corinthians chapter 10:9. We should not test Christ as some of them did and were killed by snakes. And let's read in Numbers 21:4-9, where we'll read what they say about the miserable food. Now, imagine you're being fed every day with what feeds. Oh, go ahead, Brother Cooligan. You got to just chime in. I don't see their hands. Go ahead.
You was in flow state. I didn't want to interrupt.
No, you're fine.
But as you were going, it just as he said something very, very important. He said they treated anyone that had treated him with contempt. Mm-hmm. And it's exactly what you were just describing. They called it miserable food. Imagine, like, Egypt didn't treat them with respect.
Not at all.
Like, it was oppression, and they gave, like, so here it is, the Lord is bringing them into a situation, and he's taking them to a new place where everything it's prosperous. This land is prosperous, and they're treating it with contempt. They do not care. So he's saying, yeah, I can forgive the people, but those that treated me with contempt, they cannot come. So it's, as you were just even describing, like I never knew that they called it miserable food.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. We're gonna read it. And that manna was like snow, and they could do and make it any way that they wanted to. They could bake it, they could fry it, they could do things with it. And yet you can imagine when they call it the melting pot. It reminds me of a big pot of slop. If you've ever had everybody just throwing whatever they had to make a meal, yeah, it's edible. But when you call it a melting pot of meat, that just reminds me of, you don't even know what's in that pot. It's just enough to give you nutrients. Here, God was providing this manna that was satisfied all aspects of their body, their mind, their soul, but yet they called it miserable food. And you're right, absolutely, the contempt that they showed. And this is exactly what he says. Anybody who shows me contempt will not come with me, will not be entering in. They can't. How could they? They don't have if you've got contempt for the Lord, you would not have any kind of mindset that he can use in the kingdom at that point. You have just you've drawn that line in the sand, and you are done. So let's read in Numbers 21:4-9. They traveled from Mount Hor along the route to the Red Sea to go around Edom. But the people grew impatient. And I'll remember that word because it's going to come up in this study. They grew impatient on the way. They spoke against God, against Moses, and said, "Why have you brought us up out of Egypt to die in this wilderness? There's no bread, there's no water, and we detest this miserable food." Right there. Numbers 21:4-9. You can read it for yourself. And we detest this miserable food you have provided us. Then Remember in 1 Corinthians, we should not test Christ as some of them did and were killed by snakes. The very next verse is, then the Lord sent venomous, poisonous snakes among them. They bit the people, and many Israelites died. Like, the Lord is not going to put up with this nonsense. What comes out of our mouth is what's in our heart. He's not going to put up with it. He's weeding out. He's very much angered by it. The people came to Moses and said, we sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us. They turn when the things get bad. That's our problem. We don't seek the Lord continuously through the suffering. It's only when we're bad. Oh, I need to pray to the Lord. I sinned. I need to make this right because I can't handle the consequences of my own actions. And there are consequences. We've read and studied that through earlier Bible studies with the Israelites. There's consequences for our actions. If you don't like those consequences, then you'll change your actions. You'll start to change your mindset. Let the Lord work on all of those things. And these guys just kept butting up against it.
That's something to be said, that to treat the Lord as a last resort.
Yes.
It was a last resort. I don't trust you enough. I don't really believe in you. But my last resort is, okay, if I can't get anything else, where can you fix this? I only turn to you when I'm in the deepest of troubles.
Yep.
That's treating someone with contempt.
Yes.
That's that user mentality, not I can't imagine being in and having a relationship with someone, but I use them as a last resort.
Mm-hmm.
In that aspect of, I only come to you when I'm in the deepest of waters. One time, I understand it, but every time you call me, you in the deepest of waters, even in friendships, that can become overbearing.
Mm-hmm.
So to be in a relationship like that, where someone is treating you with, as at a point, it's like you said, it's treating someone with contempt and disdain, where I'm treating you with at the last resort. That's the only time that I want to call on you.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, and the rest of the time I don't need you. You know, and they think that God doesn't know this. He knows every hair on our head. He knows everything, every thought, every emotion, everything that's in your heart, everything that comes out. You cannot hide from God. We've gone through that study. You cannot hide from God. He knows everything. So when you're doing that, you think that you're fooling God. You're going through this facade of I don't need him this day, but when I'm really bad and really hurting, that's when I'm going to cry out. He knows that. So the people came to Moses and said, we sinned when we spoke against the Lord and against you. Pray that the Lord will take the snakes away from us. This is like the plagues in Egypt when we went over the plagues. The Lord just intensified these plagues, trying to get them to understand who the false gods were, and that he was over all of those false gods, and they had no place when it came to the true God. It wasn't even close. They could not do anything that helped, but they would cry out. Instead of changing, they would try to deal with the next plague and cry out to the next plague, but never changing their heart set, never relying on the Lord. Some of them did, because they left with the Israelites, but most of them held on to the false gods. So Moses prayed for the people. The Lord said to Moses, make a snake and put it up on a pole, and listen to this. Anyone who is bitten can look at it and live. So Moses made a bronze snake, put it on a pole. Then when anyone was bitten by a snake and looked at the bronze snake, they lived. It was a test of their faith. It wasn't about worshiping some snake, bronze snake. It was, will they come to me after they've been bitten? Will they repent? Will they understand I am the one true God? They were impatient. They could not wait upon the Lord. And the Israelites committed spiritual adultery with the golden calf. We're going to get into that golden calf and what that was all about. They built the golden calf while Moses was on Mount Sinai getting the 10 commandments from God. That impatience, keep that in mind. They showed no patience and they built the golden calf. Not only did they build the golden calf, but they worshiped it instead of God. And they even credited this rescue from Egypt to the golden calf. Now, with the snake, God provided them a snake. Okay, if you need something, here's a bronze snake. But I want you to know the difference. It's not about the snake. It's about coming to me. And now they go, and Moses is up on the mountain getting the 10 commandments. He's up there for 40 days. We just talked about this with Brother Cooligan and Brother Stedman. They couldn't wait another day. Isn't that like us? We just cannot wait another. Okay, God, I gave you, 3 years of my life, and now I can't wait another day for you to show me some big miracle in my life. It's on your timeline, your will, it's you, and you don't even realize it. That you're not waiting on the Lord and his timing. You're trying to set the timeline. Okay, I've given you 3 years. Something needs to happen. Otherwise, I may go do something else. This is what they did. And here they are with the golden calf. Now, listen to this story, because there's so much to this story and the golden calf that we don't want to overlook. Exodus chapter 32, 1 through 4. Hold on just a second. I need to get a drink. Coffee time Bible study. I hope you have your coffee. All right. When the people saw that Moses was so long in coming down from the mountain, they gathered around Aaron and said, come make us gods who will go before us. And as for this fellow Moses, now listen to what they call him. As for this fellow Moses, this fellow who brought us out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him. This fellow, this guy, this a commoner. No different than anybody else. They call him fellow Moses. This fellow Moses, that's like saying, I don't know what happened to Joe Blow down the street. I don't even know that guy. Really? God was working through Moses. You've been with Moses all that time. He guided you. He was your leader. He was your guide and helper, and he led you out of Egypt. And now you call him just a fellow Moses? As for this fellow Moses who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him. Aaron answered them, take off the gold earrings. Now, Aaron, he should have known better. He was Moses's brother. God sent him over there to help Moses. He was helping him all through the plagues. He was right there with the staff. And look at look what Aaron does. It's kind of like, look at that guy. Unbelievable.
The boldness to say that to his brother. And his brother, like you said, how his brother reacts. As for this fellow Moses, no reverence, not even a brother. Like, this is one of you because you know that this is Aaron's brother.
Yes.
But you're saying it to him as it's treating him as contempt.
All of it
is a contempt.
Yeah.
This day.
Yeah, and he's not only his physical brother, but he's his spiritual brother. And he doesn't stop them. He doesn't say, whoa, wait. This is Moses we're talking about. This is God's chosen Moses that you're calling just a common fellow Moses. So Aaron answers them, take off the gold earrings that your wives, your sons, and your daughters are wearing and bring them to me. He orchestrates this whole thing. You got to be careful, even with the people that you think are spiritual leaders. They can like Aaron. He led them astray. Here, come on. Bring me your golden earrings, all of it, bring it to me. And so he took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast. It says he did. Not all the Israelites, all the other people, they contributed. I'm not saying they didn't, but you expected more out of Aaron at that time. It surprised me when I slowed it down that Aaron was orchestrating this. He took what they handed him and made it into an idol cast in the shape of a calf, fashioning it with a tool. He made it all nice and fancy. Then they said, listen to these Israelites. These are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. This golden calf with these that we made and were chiseled and made beautiful, the statue, it was the false gods all along. It was the gods of this and the gods of that and the idol worship of this and the idol worship of that. They said, these are your gods. It's not the one true God. It's the idols that brought us out of Egypt. Israelites just completely lost the ball. And Aaron, he was right there helping orchestrate a false god. They could not wait on the Lord. They could not wait for the coming of the Lord. And that's what we're doing right now. People are not waiting. They're changing. They're picking the wrong side. They're not choosing God. They won't wait another day. They won't wait another year. Their timeline, they're picking their timeline. They're choosing their timeline. Their expectations of when the Lord should show up is their expectation, not God's timeline, not when his time to show up. It's not about us. It's about him. And calling Moses this fellow Moses was them being disrespectful, like Brother Cooligan said, showing more contempt for the Lord because this was who God chose to lead them, devaluing Moses as their leader. He was no longer the leader Moses, but just another fellow Moses, and stripping away his title and his authority, like as if God never spoke to Moses. God never gave Moses all the instructions and all the things that they needed along the way. They just stripped that with just a title. And I want you to think about that in a deeper thing. We can strip people and devalue people so easily, like as if it doesn't even matter. And to God, it does matter. We're in Exodus 32 now. Chapter 5 and 6. We're just going to read a few more verses in that right after what we just read. It goes on to say, when Aaron saw this, he built an altar in front of the calf and announced, tomorrow there will be a festival to the Lord. So he thought, oh, they are all repenting. We are all going to build this altar in front of this golden calf. And now we're going to switch it from an idol worshiping false god to now we're going to place an altar in front of it. And that's going to make it all okay. We'll see if it does. So the next day, the people rose early and sacrificed burnt offerings and presented fellowship offerings. Afterward, they sat down to eat and drink and go up to indulge. And then they got up and indulge in revelry. Anybody know what revelry means? Loud festival, not worshiping God. They immediately, after going to the altar, after doing their fellowship worship offerings and their burnt offerings, sat down to eat with one another and got up and had merriment. That quickly forgot about God. So that altar, that golden calf didn't mean a thing. They were in revelry, and it wasn't worshiping the Lord. Just as the Israelites were distancing themselves from Moses by calling him that fellow Moses, God was distancing himself from the people by calling them Moses's people. See, we got to slow things really, really down, or we miss points. So as we move through the verse, listen to the Lord. Then the Lord said to Moses, go down, because your people, whom you brought up out of Egypt, have become corrupt. See, he was calling them my people. Now he's calling them your people. He's distancing himself from them. He's moving back. He's like, okay, I've done enough for these people. They have been quick to turn away from what I commanded them and have made themselves an idol cast in the shape of a calf. They have bowed down to it and sacrificed to it and has said, these are your gods, Israel, who brought you up out of Egypt. I have seen these people, the Lord said to Moses, and they are stiff-necked people. Now leave me alone so that my anger may burn against them and that I may destroy them. Then I will make you into a great nation. The Lord had had enough, not out of his choice, but out of the Israelites' choice. The way that they showed their contempt towards God, the way that they didn't honor him, they didn't worship him. Their recognition of sin was not genuine. They went through the festival, they went through the activity of it, they went through the facade of it, but they didn't go through the true transformation of it. And this was a massive betrayal and a critical turning point. They thought they were abandoned, and their abandonment issues played on their mindset. Like Abraham pleading for people in Sodom and Gomorrah, Moses was pleading for the Israelites. You see, Abraham pleaded for the people that were in Sodom. Moses is pleading for God for these people. Exodus 31, we keep moving through that chapter, 11 through 25. But Moses sought the favor of the Lord, his God. Lord, he said, why should your anger burn against your people? He turns it back around. These are your people, Lord. Remember that. Who you brought out of Egypt. He's like, no. Don't put that on me, my people. No. These are your people. You brought them out of Egypt. I just helped you, Lord. Who you brought out of Egypt with great power and a mighty hand. Why should the Egyptians say it was with evil intent that you brought them out, to kill them in the mountains and to wipe them off the face of the earth? Turn from your fierce anger. Relent and do not bring disaster on your people. Remember your servants, Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, to whom you swore by your own self. I will make your descendants as numerous as the stars in the sky and I will give your descendants all this land. I promised them, and it will be their inheritance forever. He's got a relationship with the Lord. Remember, Lord, remember your people. Then the Lord relented and did not bring on his people the disaster he had threatened. Our Lord gets angry. He has had enough. Moses turned and went down the mountain with the 2 tablets of the covenant law in his hands. They were inscribed on both sides, front and back. The tablets were the work of God. The writing was the writing of God, engraved on the tablets. When Joshua heard the noise of the people shouting, he said to Moses, "There is the sound of war in the camp." Moses replied, "It is not the sound of victory. It is not the sound of defeat. It is the sound of singing that I hear." When Moses approached the camp and saw the calf and the dancing, his anger burned, and he threw the tablets out of his hands, breaking them to pieces at the foot of the mountain. And he took the calf the people had made and he burned it in the fire. Then he ground it into powder, scattered it on the water, and made the Israelites drink it. He said to Aaron, what's he going to say to Aaron? Let's hear what he says to Aaron. What did these people do to you that you led them into great sin? He recognized that Aaron was leading them into great sin. Do not be angry, my lord, Aaron answered. You know how prone these people are to evil. They said to me, make us gods who will go before us. As for this fellow Moses who brought us up out of Egypt, we don't know what has happened to him. So I told them, whoever has any jewelry, take it off. Then they gave me the gold and I threw it into the fire and out came this calf. Moses saw that the people were running wild and that Aaron had let them get out of control, and so became a laughing stock to their enemies. There are consequences to our actions, and the Israelites with the golden calf was no exception. The Levites that day killed 3,000 Israelites, following their idol worship of the golden calf. And God struck the camp with a plague. Consequences to your actions. And Aaron backpedaling on what he did, not identifying his role and his actions caused the people to greatly sin. Moses was holding Aaron accountable, his brother in a physical brother, biological brother, and his brother, mostly his brother in Christ. He says, what did you do to the people? Why did you lead them into great sin? You were supposed to be the leader. They needed you. They're running wild. They're doing whatever they want. And this calf just came out of the gold that they were offered. No, you made it with your own hands. That's why he says, be careful about what you make with your own hands so that you're not idly worshiping. You're not worshiping these things as idols that you've made with your own hands. This golden calf was made with their own hands. They chiseled it with a tool. Exodus 26 through 35. We keep moving through the chapter. So he stood at the entrance to the camp and said, whoever is for the Lord, come to me. And all the Levites rallied to him. Then he said to them, this is what the Lord, the God of Israel, said. Each man strap a sword to his side. go back and forth through the camp from one to the other, each killing his brother and friend and neighbor. The Levites did as Moses commanded, and that day about 3,000 of the people died. Then Moses said, "You have been set apart to the Lord today, for you were against your own sons and brothers, and he has blessed you this day." The next day, Moses said to the people, "You have committed a great sin, but now I will go up to the Lord. Perhaps I can make atonement for your sin." So Moses went back to the Lord and said, "Oh, what a great sin these people have committed. I recognize it. I see it. They have made themselves gods of gold. But now, please forgive their sin. But if not, then blot me out of the book you have written." The Lord replied to Moses, "Whoever has sinned against me, I will blot out of the book. Now go lead the people to the place I spoke of, and my angel will go before you. However, when the time comes for me to punish, I will punish them for their sin." And the Lord struck the people with a plague because of what they did with the calf Aaron had made. The Lord is going to take care of the things that he sees as unpleasing. He's not going to let you just keep getting away with committing these sins over and over and idol worshiping some other false god, whatever that may be. He's not going to let that happen. But it wasn't time. He told Moses, "It's not time yet, but I am going to punish them. So expect it." Because Moses had interceded and prayed specifically for Aaron, he did not face immediate death at that time. Aaron failed as a leader while Moses was up on the mountain. You see, every good leader needs other leaders to take over those positions when they're not there. If you shrink back and think that you don't need to step up to the plate, you're wrong. Because every good leader needs other good leaders. Everybody's a leader. Aaron failed as a leader while Moses was up on the mountain, and Aaron seen all the things that God had done. He was right there with Moses all along through the 10 plagues, through the Exodus out of Egypt, through the fire, through the clouds, through God's presence all the way through. Aaron was right there, but look at the difference between Moses and Aaron. The huge differences. He fell to their pressure and did not help them to understand the need to wait on the Lord. God had more plans for Aaron, as we know he became the high priest. God provided the pillar of cloud so that they never were without a visual presence of him because they needed it. They were still in trauma. We talked about that. The trauma that they went through, the mindset. They were in need of that presence of the Lord. But they weren't going to have his presence there forever. Just like we don't have him present. He's in everything. We can see everything. He's no longer in a fire cloud that we can see directing our path. We have to understand and know that he is there. They already asked if the Lord was among them in Exodus 17:7. They refused to wait on the Lord. And waiting on the Lord is not sitting in boredom, not frustrated of lack of doing things. Our waiting in human standards versus God's standards are completely different. We are taught from a very young age that waiting is a problem. Waiting is boredom. Waiting is frustration. We wait in the doctor's office. We wait in line at the stores. We wait and we immediately teach our children that waiting is bad. We're waiting on the bus and we're not having joy to the Lord as we wait. Our human standards for waiting looks like stagnation, boredom, restlessness, failure, passivity, waste of valuable time. Human standards say we must rush, make things happen, and if doors are not open, we must force them open. We don't wait on the next role at work. We're pushing, climbing that ladder, breaking that glass ceiling. We make things happen. We set our own goals, and achieve them before a certain time. We set plans, we set goals. Go ahead, Brother Cooligan.
I was even thinking, even in our technology, we're always thinking about how to do things faster. It goes from an oven to a microwave to an air fryer to everything that it goes into that would be, that we should slow down and take the time. Even the food that begins to be processed, how much faster can we get out of there? But the more faster that things become, the quality that it loses.
Yep. And those are all human standards. I remember when my children were young, the microwave came out. And I remember going, oh, this thing is terrible. I'm not putting any food in there. There's no way that can be healthy. I refuse to heat my children's food up in it. I refuse to use it in any way. And it just goes to show you the time sped up. And I really want us to get this. The time sped up in that rush is not God. It's just not. God's standards of waiting are trusting in his timing, patience, there's that word, patience, productivity about working for the Lord, preparing for the Lord. It's productive waiting, and valuable spiritual transformation, letting go of control, anxiety, worry. God's standards are unwavering, hope, and keeping with the faith. The rush and the waiting, that's human standards, are anxiety. Oh, when is this going to get over with? I'm waiting. I'm worried. It's all about me. I'm in control of this. Why are people late? Why are people, why is this line taking so long? Who's delaying the line? Beep, 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 beep. And it goes on and on and on. The world calls it wasting time. God calls it character building. And I love that, because he's like, no, you're just not time. It's not your time yet. There's so much more character that I need to build in you. This is not wasting time. He's taking that time to actually change our hearts and our minds. Man looks at the outside. God looks at the inside, and that takes time. In 1 Samuel 16:7, but the Lord said to Samuel, do not consider his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. The Lord does not look at the things people look at. People look at the outward appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart. And our heart, it has been conditioned to be anxious about waiting, be mad about it, to be in a rush, to any time is a waste of time. It's hard for us to just settle down and allow the work of God to work. He's not anxiety and worry and all of that. He's about building your character, taking the time to do that. If you're waiting in line, for instance, instead of standing there, wanting to beep your horn, take the time that God has given you and do something productive with it. It's going to change your life. 2 Peter chapter 3, 8-9. But do not forget this one thing, dear friends. With the Lord, a day is like 1,000 years, and 1,000 years are like a day. The Lord is not slow in keeping his promise, as some understand slowness. Instead, he is patient with you, not wanting anyone to perish, but everyone to come to repentance. He's patient. His timing is different. And when we start to get that, what that time means, our Lord is not in a hurry. If he was in a hurry, he would already be coming back. He's waiting for that perfect time. His timing is perfect. He is patient because he does not want anyone to perish. He wants everyone to repent. But there will be a time that he's so angry that he is done with us, that we read in Revelation. And that time is coming. Philippians 4, chapter 4 through 7. Rejoice in the Lord always. I will say it again. Rejoice. Let your gentleness be evident to all. The Lord is near. Do not be anxious about anything, but in every situation, by prayer and petition, with thanksgiving, present your requests to God. And the peace of God, which transcends all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Christ Jesus. God wants us actively seeking and eagerly anticipating and confidently expecting his presence. And when God did not show up immediately or wasn't visually in front of them in some manner, the Israelites' minds began to wander. God wanted them to understand that he was always with them. And he wanted them to understand that their God, no matter what they were experiencing, the valleys, the mountains, the good times, the bad times, he was there. In Hebrews chapter 13:5 says, God has said, never will I leave you. Never will I forsake you. And in Psalms 37:5 through 7 says, commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. See, the Lord's timing is different. And when we start pushing the agenda, when we start pushing our timelines, when we start putting our expectations on it, this is when he starts to distance himself back. We just read that. Psalms 37:34. Hope in the Lord and keep his ways. He will exalt you to inherit the land. When the wicked are destroyed, you will see it. Couple more. Isaiah 40:30 through 31. He gives strength to the weary and increases the power of the weak. Even youths grow tired and weary, and young men stumble and fall. But those who hope in the Lord will renew their strength. They will soar on wings like eagles. They run and not grow weary. They will walk and not be faint. Isaiah 30:18. Yet the Lord longs to be gracious to you. Therefore, he will rise up to show you compassion. For the Lord is a God of justice. Blessed are all who wait for him. Who wait for him. Not, are you in the line and you're just waiting on him, anxious and worried and mad and frustrated? Or are you waiting in the line for the Lord, preparing yourself, character building, learning the Lord, sharing the Lord with others? What's your line look like? What's your car? What's your car look like? Are you busy beeping the horn, trying to find something to do because your mind will not settle? you don't have peace in your heart. Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
No, you're fine.
Is that that patience requires like trust, because it's the trust in him that he's going to do exactly what he said. As you were just going through the scriptures, it reminds me of how when he told Israel to plant, when they got to the land. I know it's jumping ahead.
No, it's fine.
But it's
there's no wrong here.
The way that he had told them to plant, it required trust. It required trust that your how can I say it? He would produce he was the reason for the harvest.
Yeah.
Your job was just to do the work. Yeah. So there has to be a trust. So that patience and watching the seed grow, it didn't come from, did I do it right? It came from your obedience to the Lord. And the more like the obedience produced that fruit. So it goes from seeing something physical to what that looks like spiritual. Yeah. As you are doing and being obedient to the Lord, that patience allows you not to have anxiety, because your trust is, I'm obedient. And through that obedience and me following the Lord and dying to myself, here it is. I'm able to now
develop your character.
Yes. Because you went through the suffering.
Yep.
You persevered.
Yep.
Your character developed, and now you have a hope. Now it's just it's a constant flow.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's exactly what, as we go through these Bible studies, we're seeing that development of character through the Israelites, that development and this waiting of time, and how important that was for their development, that they seen what they had to do, that didn't rush it. Every time they rushed in, or every time they went with their own agenda, it didn't work out. It wasn't what the Lord had wanted. And therefore he starts, as we read, distancing himself. There's consequences to those actions. And he's asking, while you're waiting on me, I need you to character build. I need you to do these things that are productive. Like we just read, his timing is different. His expectations of us in that waiting period is different than the world standards, human standards. Rush in, break those glass ceilings, rush, do, that busy. That's not God's peace. That's not his patience. That's not what he's teaching us, to rush in. He's teaching us to character build and to see his character ultimately in all of that it always points back to him, because he's wanting us to build our character to align with his character. And that is part of the waiting process. His timeline for us, we don't know it, but we know that his time is perfect. And when his coming back takes place, whether it's today or tomorrow, just like the Israelites building that golden calf that we just talked about, if they would have waited that one more day, Moses would have came down with the 10 commandments from the Lord, written in his own hand. But instead, they're waiting on, okay, we've waited long enough. We've been patient long enough. Their timeline became their own timeline and not the timeline of the Lord. He's coming back. He is coming back in his timeline. And what we need to be doing during this time is preparing ourselves for that time to come, to character build, to be able to help others along the way, to plant those seeds and wait for the harvest, to be able to do those things that God has intended for us to do while we're waiting. It's not boring. It's not frustrating. It's not unhappiness. It's not all of those human standards that we just talked about. It's about waiting on his timing, in his perfect timing, when he's ready. He's not a quick God. He's not doing things so quickly that we don't understand what he's doing. He has stepped us through a process individually as well as corporately as believers, that to get ready for his coming, because he is coming. And there's no doubt about it. He has promised us. He has told us. He has written about it. He has said the consequences. He said what will happen to the wicked. He is preparing our minds, our hearts, our souls, just like he did with the Israelites. And he is going to say, you choose the Lord or you don't. But those that are in contempt of me, I will wash my hands of, and I will send a plague on you, and there will be war, just like in the Revelations. So he's asking us during this waiting period of time, what are you doing with it? Are you standing in that line, being frustrated? Are you waiting and everything is according to your timeline, or are you waiting on the Lord? And that's the answer. Waiting on the Lord and what he wants us to be doing while we're waiting, preparing, being productive, having no anxiety, no worry, being peaceful about it, being patient, the fruits of the Spirit. Do we have the fear of the Lord? All of those questions he's giving us in pure words in the Bible, as well as spiritual food for our soul. And yet the Israelites said, why did you give us this miserable food? I detest this miserable food. Don't be an Israelite detesting what God is giving us, laying out manna every day to eat. We may not have the manna like the Israelites, but we have other manna, other things that are feeding our soul. We have the Bible. We have brothers and sisters that are like-minded. We have people that are talking about the Lord, that are teaching others, that are preaching others. Don't be Aaron, be Moses. Don't be, people call them fellow Moses, that fellow. Be a leader despite what they say about you. Don't be Aaron, knowing everything and then backsliding into an idolater of helping build a calf, golden calf. I hope this Bible study has brought about some awareness of the differences of what God's expectation of time and his standard of waiting is different than what the world's standard of waiting is. It has nothing to do with the Lord. It has everything to do with other wicked things of the world. I hope this Bible study has helped. Go back and read Exodus chapter 32 and 33. And as we move and continue to move through the Exodus, we'll be in Exodus part 20 next week. I'm sorry about having the internet go out last week, because we were really anxious about doing this. We were not anxious in a bad way. We were anxious and excited to bring this message to you. We'll be here next week on Tuesday at 9:00 a.m. Eastern Time for Coffee Time Bible Study. Bye for now. Bye-bye.